We look on the front pages of the Times, and at the front page of the Times, it says visa threat to states not taking back migrants. Indians, Pakistanis, and Nigerians will face visa restrictions if their countries refuse or delay efforts to take back illegal immigrants from the UK. And that's what the new Home Office Secretary is saying. Shabana Mahmood will risk spats for more deportations. It says Indians, Pakistani, and Nigerians will face visa restrictions if their countries refuse or delay efforts to take back the illegal migrants from the UK. Shabana Mahmood, the new Home Secretary, signaled her willingness to risk diplomatic spats with big nations announcing plans to suspend visas for countries like that did not play ball with her efforts to implement a surge in migrant deportations. And really, this woman just is, and I believe she stole this idea from Reform and the Conservative parties. Yes, because all along she could have done that the Labour Party or the Labour government could have done this from the moment they took over the reins of power. But no, they were busy because they were waiting to take in more. And people like me, we believe that they deliberately ignore this influx because they hope to send them into different constituencies where they can solidify their holds on those constituencies, and also to water down constituencies where they don't have any chance of winning. That's the strategy. That's what they did in America with over 20 million illegals entering America under Joe Biden. That's what liberals do. Liberals know that the real indigenous people of the nation will not really vote for their crazy ideas. So they have to bring people in and pretend to be fighting for the rights of the minorities, so the minorities can keep voting for them en masse to keep them in power or to get them into power. That's what I believe is going on, and let me know. You might have a different idea, so let's hear from you. Then at the top there it says Macron loses another PM days before protests and strikes. Yes, Macron is in trouble. You see, we are praying that all these wicked people who don't believe in God, who have their strange ideas, they call themselves progressives. We know they're not progressive, they're backward. And here it says President Macron's prime minister was ousted yesterday to leave France facing further political turmoil and social unrest and economic uncertainty. Yes, Francois Bayrou, 74, was evicted after 9 months in office when he lost a confidence vote over his austerity budget in parliament. You know what? And I was looking at the website of Sky News yesterday, and guess what was happening? Sky was explaining that the economy is struggling, and they were trying to give some reasons why. That the French people are not working hard enough, or not working enough hours in the week, because when some of these strange countries come with 4-day working week and all these strange new ideas, all the liberals will say, well, that system seems to be okay. Maybe that's what to run with. But what they forget was that France was busy pillaging countries in Africa, stealing from them, taking their raw materials for next to nothing. So if, for instance, you are going into someone else's country to steal their resources, to pump into your economy, you can afford to keep your people, to allow your people to have 4-day working weeks or whatsoever. You can afford to carry out experiments which won't have any consequence. But in this case, 3 major countries in Africa, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they were 3 countries under the control of the French government, and those countries rebelled a few years ago. They took over their own economy. Now they're selling their resources at the right prices, and as a result, it's also affecting the French economy. And that's one thing they're not telling you. Yes, the French economy is in trouble. So if you've been stealing to feed your children, and finally what you're stealing is not available any longer, definitely Your children who are not working will start feeling the pinch. That is what is going on. But they won't tell you this. But if you understand economics, you understand what's going on. Because the French government used to control the economy of those countries. They took the raw materials, they controlled their currency and everything. But now the guy said we've had enough, because in the past they were ignorant. Even now, the French government is trying to get rid of those governments because they want things to go back to how they were. And I know there are a lot of wicked people on the ground in Africa who want to do that for them, as long as they get some recognition in the western part of the world. That is what I believe is one of the reasons. Let me hear from you. What do you think?